Hey everybody, I'm Albert, and I have some great exciting news for you. Many of you have been asking me how to install Stable Diffusion locally on your computer. Maybe you don't want to use a cloud service. Maybe you have a great GPU installed because you have a gaming computer, but you saw that the web UI that I use from Automatic 1111 is a little complicated to install, and I'll admit to that. You need to understand a little bit of how Git works, how to use the command line. But that is all over now with this new easy-to-use local install of Stable Diffusion, which was published on Reddit, which I found on Reddit at least, today. So they claim that if you go to artroom.ai/download app, you can install it with one click. So let's do that. Now that it's downloaded, it's just 200 megabytes. We click here, and we get a nice little wizard like this. You can see you just pick your normal destination folder, everything. It's like installing a normal application, which I appreciate. And then we click install, and it's going to install all the dependencies, Python and Conda and all this stuff that even I don't really understand automatically. So you don't have to do all the manual commands. It's really much easier. If any part of this installation doesn't work for you, make sure you read the instructions here because it does say if it freezes at any point, try pressing enter or trying again. So if something just stops for way too long, I wouldn't say this has happened here, but if you just, wait for like 10 minutes and nothing happens, just press the enter key and it should continue for you. So don't fret. So now you can see the extras it's downloading, Real-ES Argan. That means it does have built-in upscaling, which I've been using a lot in the other UI. That's excellent. So now you can see it's downloading the model weights, which is the important part. That's this 4 gig file. Although I did read on Reddit that you will be able to install other models as well. So I, for example, have been using the Midjourney V4 diffusion, which just gives you like really nice Midjourney style polished results. So that will also work with this UI, which is really cool. I'm super excited to use this. So despite a couple error messages I saw along the way, it appears the installation was successful. We can click finish. And now check out the app. So we're going to look for Artroom. It is installed. It's opening. And we get a little tutorial here. App that lets you generate AI art. In this box, you can type in what you want to generate. Obviously, that's the prompt. And press run. The folder name, you can generate a folder name that your images will go into. And the overall destination is here in settings. We can check that out later. Set how many images you want to generate. So basically, this is exactly like the UI I've been using, just designed a little nicer. It's its own app rather than in the browser. And you can set the size. So of course, I'm going to stay with the rules I've been using. So 512 by 512 is good. And I've been willing to go up to 768 on either of them, depending on the aspect ratio I want. How many steps? I go between 20 and 50. I actually never go above 50 because it's not necessary. And this is the CFG scale that we know from my other tutorials. So I usually leave it around 7.5. And it tells the AI how to stay close to, how close to stay to your prompt. And of course, you might think you want to go really high, but then it starts getting weird, like it develops very weird artifacts and stuff. So usually 7 is around good. So 14 is pretty high. I'm going to turn that down. And the seed is good when it's random, unless you want similar results to something you've already built. Interesting. So here you can click to upload one of your favorite settings.json. So you can actually make a JSON file for different objectives. I might be using that for like different reasons to use this. And if you have an idea of an image you want to use as your base, I see. So the image-to-image algorithm, which I use a ton, can be put in here, and they just integrated it into the same interface because the other web UI had 2 different tabs that were quite similar, and they integrated this in here, which is an excellent idea. And the negative prompt is in there. Okay, cool. So far it looks very promising. Let's check out the tabs. There's a Create tab, which we're already in. There's a Paint tab, which I assume is like in painting. There's an upscaling tab. Excellent. You can pick an upscaler, 1 out of 5 different ones. Okay, interesting. I usually use Real-ES Argan. You can look at your images, which just opens up it opens up your folder on my other screen. Doesn't matter. It's just opening up the folder. There's a link to their website, which isn't up yet. And there's a Discord. And here are the settings, quite simple. Choose generation speed, which just uses more GPU memory, which I don't have enough of anyway, so I'm probably good. And you can generate grids and stuff. Even use the CPU if you want, which they don't recommend. Up here you see the model weights folder. Let's open that up. So of course I have previous models installed in my other UI, which I have in here. So I think we can probably just bring those over here. For example, the Midjourney one. Bring that over here and see if it becomes available here. I can choose my model weights. Okay, so it recognizes 1. Maybe if we refresh the app. Now see if we can pick it. Yeah, and there it is. So there's Midjourney v4. Good. And let's try to generate something. So here are my favorite prompts for the Midjourney style. Let's do a woman standing in a field. Happy old woman standing in a field. And that all looks decent. And run. See how fast it works. It's loading the model. It added to the queue. So you can actually see it here. It's loading the model now. So it's doing something that the automatic UI would do during the launch process. So instead of doing that while launching, which can feel kind of boring and off when you're starting an app, they'd rather open the app, let you set all kinds of settings, and then load the model once you're ready, which, you know, is a decent choice. I respect that. If Artroom doesn't work immediately, it's new software, so just reboot your PC and try again, then it should. It doesn't have the neat little preview that the automatic web UI does, which I love, because then you can kind of skip or interrupt if you see the results aren't where you want them to be. And there we go. My prompt was horrific, but it did its job. So you can look at your images here, and they're saved in the output folder that's on my desktop here. So here there's the thing called gens. You can change that name, of course, and your images will all be in here. So generally, this is really cool. It was a super easy installation. So if you don't feel comfortable learning command line or just want a slightly nicer UI, you can definitely use Artroom as an option. The link to that is in the YouTube video description. And if you want my usual web UI, the link for that is also down there. That was it for me today, a short little exciting update. When I read it this morning, I thought, wow, I really have to share this with you, so I hope you like it just as much as I do. If you did enjoy this video, I would love if you subscribed, if you haven't already, and joined the 9,000 other people that have in these past couple months. So thank you. That's super exciting to me that you like these videos so much. And feel free to comment if you want to see something specific about Stable Diffusion that I can share with you. I'd love to do that. I'm Albert Bosazan, and I hope you have fun with Stable Diffusion.